Yeah, it's a 2-hour conversation to articulate why I'm disappointed with my contemporary. So for a very long time, until high school, I didn't realize that not everyone grew up in competition, constant competition. My dad was an athlete and a soldier, so I was an athlete and I was raised like a soldier. I refused the yes sir, no sir shit. I wasn't going to do that in the home because he's not the fucking king. I told my dad that circa 4 or 5 years old. You're not the fucking king. Maybe not in those words. I wasn't thick 44 before I met thick 44. Not that much. But I've been telling you, I've been trying to talk about how disappointed I am in my contemporaries. And what I realize is that extrapolates out a lot further than I thought in high school. Because I realized, oh, okay, well, not everybody engages in the competition, but everybody is graded, so they know they're competing, whether they realize it or not, and they'll figure it out by college when they realize they have to get jobs. And what I realized is that they didn't figure it out until their 30s, and they still haven't figured it out. COVID set them so far back spiritually and psychologically that many of my contemporaries haven't figured out that everything is a competition at every level. And so what I'm realizing, I spent a lot of time before I got sick, and maybe this is why I got sick. Maybe God struck me down. Maybe I had one of those religious illnesses, which is possible. What used to happen to revelators like John of Patmos is after they said something particularly revelatory to them or to other people, something that actually had come directly out of God, they would get sick and be incapacitated for oftentimes over 24 hours. So maybe that's what happened. Maybe when I was talking about heroes and culture heroes and who are they, and maybe I psychosomatically made myself so exhausted over that thought, the bigness of that thought, and the Sisyphean nature of that thought alone was enough to knock me down. I don't think so, because I also vomited, but it's possible. It's entirely possible. Everything is entirely possible when you're talking about the psychosomatic and the highly intelligent. I'm realizing that many people didn't get heroes. They weren't given culture heroes by their parents because they were taught not to emulate the real human beings on TV. So they emulated the cartoons. Because their parents thought, well, cartoons are just cartoons. And so, my brother is deeply anti-Semitic, and I confronted him about it. I was like, hey, man, you just cannot talk like that. Those are real people. And his answer back was, well, Family Guy and South Park do it. Cartoons. And when I got into my talking about the difference in terror and trauma, I was thinking about what other people would call a trauma moment that I had with a Mickey Mouse cartoon. But it was really just a terror to me because it was a recurring thought that was accurate and true, kept being true in a way that I didn't like. That's not trauma. So you don't have heroes and you don't set yourself in competition with your heroes. No wonder